Hi there, I'm Melinda Metz. I'm the Community Relations Coordinator for SourcePoint, and today I'll be interviewing Steve Gorman.
Thank you. My name is Steve Gorman, and I am the Enrichment Center Administrator, and I'm closing out on my 6th year here at SourcePoint, and it's been a fun, fabulous ride. From where we were 6 years ago to where we are today has just been phenomenal growth, both in terms of programming, but more importantly, opportunities for the community we serve, the 55 and better, to engage themselves and build their own networks that allows them to thrive and optimally age is the phrase we use a lot in the enrichment center. So that's my job, is to find talent, give them opportunities to create programs that get this 55 and better community involved, engaged, and interested in what SourcePoint as a total organization brings to the greater Delaware community. One of the things that was asked was, how's programming going in 2020 versus previous years? Part of that is so complicated is we had always wanted to do online programming. That was always been a dream. We always wanted to have our own YouTube channel. We wanted to be able to do all this, knowing that there's a segment of our 55 and better community that, for whatever reason, are not going to come to 800 Cheshire Road. But for various factors, we focused on internal programming. And we were so pleased to have gone over 300 programs a quarter that we got caught up in that statistic as our overarching metric. And so we kept continuing to build programs so there's more and more opportunities. We focused on pod programming. We'd rather have 10 classes for 10 people than one class for 100. And the main reason being is that gave you, the member, the opportunity to build your own social network and get to know the people you're taking the activity with outside of the staff. We did not want you to be staff dependent. And that's the continuing mantra through today. This unfortunate pandemic has allowed SourcePoint to give us the opportunity to use resources to reach out electronically through the use of technology. I was looking at the statistics through July, and we've gone over 120,000 minutes of programming since the pandemic started. And that's really pretty impressive. We average around 34,000 minutes a month. That's a metric that Zoom, which is the platform we use, that's a metric that they use that we then report to the board and to our director of community programs as a measure of what the impact is. So we've gone from one fitness class all the way to, we've incorporated all aspects of the enrichment center into the Zoom technology. We started with cardio and circuit training and classic, and then we've added a yoga class. So that kind of takes care of that wellness portion. Then Joan and her team in arts and education are using mind aerobics, think positive, various art classes. We're in the middle of a visual drawing class. It's a 5-week series that Robin Clay is teaching. So we've taken care of that part of it. We have our education programs kicking off this week via Zoom, with Van Young presenting several of his classes. But not to diminish, but more importantly to focus on, was what Marilyn and Cheryl are doing with the social. The social interaction is probably the component that we feel has been most neglected through the COVID-19 pandemic, not through anybody's fault. It's just, how do we do socializing in a meaningful way? And luckily, Marilyn and Cheryl, again, two of our most valuable team members, came up with programming that we could do through Zoom, whether it's the lunch bunch, which happened last Friday, where people got together and were able to eat lunch together, even though they're in their own separate houses. We've done that with one of the dinners. We've just finished our 3rd week of trivia that we do online via Zoom. And then we've also done a mug mixer. So lots of requests for, how do I, as a household of one, how can I have some kind of fun? So we find a recipe that you can make in a coffee mug in a microwave. And it's really kind of like The View with Marilyn, Cheryl, and the members taking the class, and that's really been a great success for us. You know, it's not really about what happens in the coffee mug, it's about the conversation that takes place during the making of the coffee mug. So the main focus of all of this as an organization, SourcePoint wanted to be, how do we get interactive and work on this social isolation? So all of our programs are built on that social component, whether you're taking the cardio, a mind aerobics, or a trivia class. It's really about that connection that the members make between themselves. So even in cardio, 10 minutes before class, we open up the room and people can look at each other and say, oh, I haven't seen you forever. How are you doing? And so they get to connect, and then we start the class, and then at the end, they get to say goodbye to each other. And so that is one component of how we're trying to address social isolation. The
I
other
love
thing,
that. So now, you said that these video offerings were a want in pre-COVID. What exactly did it take to ramp up? Because you started offering online classes immediately. So what exactly did it take for the team in the Enrichment Center to come together and start offering these so quickly? I mean, you quickly became experts and just started doing it. So what exactly did that take?
well, it started with Laura Smith, who's our assistant Enrichment Center administrator. I gave her the task to find us a platform of how to do this. So when SourcePoint organization, when we were told to stand down, we swung gears. And my directive was, let's find something within 2 weeks that we can start to throw out there, knowing that people are going to start to take that bunker mentality of hunkering down, I'm not leaving, we don't know what's going on out there. So what can SourcePoint do to brighten somebody's day and make it worthwhile to look at the computer? So Laura took it upon herself to become the Zoom expert. She educated all of us on how to do that. Then she got Janelle, then Joan, and Marilyn to say, okay, take a look at this. What can you do programmatically? Janelle and her team went right to work. They went and said, okay, let's do this. We practiced a couple times, and then boom, we hit record and we started sending it out. So that's kind of how it went. Was we knew there was going to be a need. This was always in the back of our mind somewhere. SourcePoint organizationally provided us the resource of time, which is the most valuable. We now had the time to dedicate to doing something online. And with that time, we took advantage of it, and our team has run with it. I mean, we're doing 8 to 10 classes a week online, in addition to the YouTube videos, in addition to the other things that are out there online that's being done in conjunction with communications. That's really how it all came about. We always wanted to do it. We always put it on a back burner. Now, the luxury of time, we were able to put it together, get it out there, and knowing that being perfect wasn't the goal. The goal was, let's get something going. We're going to learn and how to do this better as we do it. But we had to meet the safety requirements that the organization asked of us. What were we doing? Zoom took some hits early on because of their safeguards. But we had been following all their safety recommendations from the beginning. Again, this was Laura doing that research. So we always had the safeguards in place, and we were able to demonstrate to the executive team and through them to the board of directors that we know what we're doing. We're being as safe as we can with the information we're using, and we're producing a quality product that together the entire organization is collaborating on to make all this happen.
And so for people to participate in one of these online activities, it's free, right? They just need to create their own account through the system that we use, ActiveNet, and go ahead and register for these classes, and then they're a part of everything, correct? That's how they do it?
At this point, that's 100% correct. The building isn't open for regular programming, so we made the decision, and I'm saying community programs, Amy Schossler made the decision that we were not going to charge anything for these activities. At first, we just did all the registration through Zoom. That you didn't have to even fool with ActiveNet. but we keep anticipating that we'll get the permission to open and go beyond step one. So this go around in August, we then added the layer of having to register an ActiveNet. And that way we could use our existing software system to track how many people are actually participating. And that's a metric that's important to us. We can do it through Zoom, but it's a lot easier through ActiveNet. However, there's still hurdles we have to get over cleaner than we're currently doing. It is a little clunky. I think once we're back in the building, the process will make a lot more sense to the members. But right now, we're 3 weeks into doing dual registration, and our error rate has dramatically decreased. We're only getting 1 or 2 phone calls a week now about having difficulty accessing the Zoom, where the first week we probably had 20 calls.
And that's an important point, because not only did we have to become experts, and there was a learning curve for us in terms of how to provide programming on a video platform, but there's also a learning curve for people at home to learn how to use a video platform. So thank you for that. So right now, when people are watching this, it's September, fall is around the corner, and then winter, when bad weather typically keeps a lot of people at home. What are you excited to be able to offer over these coming months to people who are paying attention to what we're offering online?
Well, we'll be excited to offer even more programming. As like I said before, we had over 320 programs a quarter we were offering. And right now we're somewhere around 20. We're excited to try to expand that. So no matter when, as we've reopened the building, we're still going to continue this online content. We know that that's an avenue for folks that don't have access to the physical building, that we can be, as an organization, we can make an impact in the quality of your life that is beneficial. And so we're excited to see more education programs. We'll be excited to see the lecture series come online. We'll be excited to try to, water exercise will be tough to do if you don't have a pool and a computer next to it. But other than that, we'll be excited to do that. And the technology allows us to reach a different part of our community than we were reaching. And I mentioned that 3 times. But it's important to us because we know whether it was transportation or whatever the barrier is, that people they benefit by the opportunity. Now, whether they take advantage of that or not is now on them, but we at least provide this opportunity. Mary Ann is looking to do trips, some type of virtual trips. So that will come in the start of the fall quarter. And again, it may be just an educational program about the Grand Canyon, but we're going to add trips into our mix. But we wanted to get more proficient before we expanded our umbrella too far out. So that's our big challenge is as we get back into the building and we resume and get closer to 300 actual classes, how are we going to juggle this? And this is where it takes the entire organization to do all this. And this is not to minimize, but to celebrate communications and development. I mean, taking advantage and helping us. Hey, you could do this a little better. You might say this. So it takes the entire organization to do this. We're really excited to make this a part of in-home care's opportunities for the clients that they're serving as well. And so this has been a great partnership with Karen Waltermeyer and her team to see if we can promote this and do some things for them as well.
And so we're asking everyone this week, how do you celebrate seniors? So Steve Gorman, how do you celebrate seniors?
The best way I can celebrate seniors is we treat you as a valued part of our community. You have the opportunity to decide for yourself how you want to live, where you want to live, and what qualifies as a quality of life for you. And to that end, SourcePoint is dedicated to bringing you the resources for you to answer those questions. That's how I celebrate seniors.
Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Melinda.